Nobody likes to read the privacy policies and terms and conditions that Google has on their products. So just listen to it. When you use our services, you're trusting us with your information. We understand it's a big responsibility and work hard to protect your information and put you in control. This privacy policy is meant to help you understand what information we collect, why we collect it, how you can update, manage, export, and delete your information. So here's a list of contents. You collect data, privacy controls, how they share your information, keep it, secure, export, and delete it, how you can do that for yourself, compliance and cooperation with regulators about this policy, regulated policies. Okay, so here is a quick video. This only needs like a minute here.
Whether you have an Android phone with a bunch of Google apps installed, or just search on Google from time to time, we want you to feel confident that your information is protected and that you're in control. This policy covers a wide range of Google products like YouTube, Maps, and Chrome, devices like Google Home, and ads served by Google across the web. We want you to understand what data we collect, how it's used, and what you can do to update, manage, download, and delete it. That's what this policy is for, to help you understand how we process information and how you can manage your privacy as you use our services.
So we build a range of services that help millions of people daily to explore and interact with the world in new ways. Okay, that includes apps, sites, devices like Google Search, YouTube Home, platforms like Chrome, Google Chrome, that's browser and Android operating system, products that are integrated into third-party apps and sites like ads and embedded Google Maps. You can use our services in a wide variety of ways to manage your privacy. For example, you can sign up for a Google account. If you want to create and manage contents like emails, photos, or see more relevant search results, you can use many Google services when you're signed out or without creating an account at all, which some prefer, like searching Google or watching YouTube videos. You can also choose to browse the web privately using Chrome in incognito mode. And across our services, you can adjust your privacy settings to control what we collect and how your information is used. To explain as clearly as possible, we've added examples and we're going to look at those right now.
When you use Google services, we collect a few different types of information. This info generally falls within two broad categories. There's the info you create or provide to us, and info we collect as you use our services. Let's have a look at each. We collect the info you create and provide to us. That includes the name you provide when you're creating an account, a photo you've uploaded to Google Photos, or a message you send using our services. We also collect info as you use our services. That means info about the devices, apps, and browser you're using, as well as your activity on Google, like the searches you make, ads you interact with, and visits to websites that use our services. It can also include information about your location as you use Google services. This means when you search for coffee shops, we can use things like your search terms, plus your location, to help you find a great place just around the corner.
And you can clear your browsing data that you did on your searches so they don't collect it or it's not always sitting there. There's a lot of things you can get rid of. We'll get to that. We want you to understand the types of information we collect as you use our services. We collect information to provide better services, so they say to our users, figuring out basic stuff like language you speak, complex things which ads you'll find most useful, which sometimes you actually do, and people who matter most to you online, or which YouTube videos you might like, which I find that they do give me a lot of those. The information Google collects and how information is used depends on how you use our services and how you manage your privacy controls, which I've gone in and changed my settings a lot. When you're not signed into Google account, we store the information we collect with unique identifiers tied to the browser, application, or device you're using. This helps us to do things like maintain your language preferences across browsing sessions. So when you're signed in, we also collect information that we store with your Google account, which I've had mine since pretty much the beginning, which we treat as personal information. So this is things you create or provide. If you create an account, you provide your personal information, which is your name and password. You can choose to add a phone number, or you don't have to, or payment information to your account, which they don't have of mine at all. Even if you're not signed into a Google account, you might choose to provide us with information, like an email address, to receive updates about our services. And not many people pay much attention to this kind of stuff anyways, because to them it's like googly gop. I mean, what are you talking about most of the time? So a lot of people don't care, because they're saying, okay, well, what difference does it make if I do care, because then I just can't have the services. But if thousands upon thousands of people did that, then they'd have to actually change some of their policies. We also collect the content you create, upload, or receive from others when using our services. This includes things like email you write and receive, photos and videos you save, docs and spreadsheets you create, and comments you make on YouTube videos. Basically, they see and censor everything and collect it. And we collect as you use our services. You're going to take it all, because basically, if you use it, it's really theirs. Probably theirs more than yours. Although you can control it to some extent. So we'll get into that. Your apps, browsers, and devices. We collect information about your apps, browsers, and devices you use to access Google services, which helps us to provide features like automatic product updates and dimming your screen if your battery runs low. I prefer that they don't control my stuff. The information we collect includes unique identifiers, browser type and settings, device type and settings, operating system, mobile network information, including carrier name and phone number, and application version number. We also collect information about the interaction with your apps, browsers, and devices with our services, including IP address, crash report, system activity, date, time, and referral URL of your request. See, a lot of people don't really even know what all this information is, but it does interest them. And they have their reasons and agendas as to why that is. And they try to explain a little bit of it here to justify it. We collect this information when a Google service on your device contacts our servers. For example, when you install an app from the Play Store, or when a service checks for automatic updates. If you're using an Android device with Google Apps, your device periodically contacts Google servers to provide information about your device and connection to our services. This information includes things like your device type, carrier name, crash reports, and apps you've installed. Your activity. Okay. They're going to collect it. Whatever you use on their services, they're going to use to do things like recommend a YouTube video that you may like. The activity we collect may include terms you search for, videos you watch, views and interactions with content, and ads. Do you ever mess with those ads? Well, they'll give you more. Voice and audio information when you use audio features. Purchase activity. People with whom you communicate or share content. It's their business. Activity on third-party sites and apps that use our services. Chrome browsing history you've synced with your Google account, which that can be, deleted. It's just a lot of work because everything you do all day long is accounted for and documented, and to go back and delete everything is work. If you use our services to make and receive calls or send and receive messages, we may collect telephony log information like your phone number, calling party number, receiving party number, forwarding numbers, time and date of calls and messages, duration of calls, or routing information, types of calls. Yes, mind-boggling information, lots and lots and lots of never-ending information. They want it all. You can visit your Google account to find and manage your activity information that's saved in your account. Yes, you can, and I have done that. Your location information. If they don't want this, keep it off as much as you can. We collect your information about your location when you use our services, which helps us offer features like driving directions for your weekend getaway or showtimes for movies playing near you. Your location can be determined with varying degrees of accuracy by GPS, IP address, sensor data from your device, information about things near your device, such as Wi-Fi access points, cell towers, and Bluetooth-enabled devices. So basically, there are many ways to know exactly where you are. And they pretty much know where everybody is. The types of location data we collect depend in part on your device and account settings. For example, you can turn your Android's device location on or off using the device's settings app. You can also turn on location history if you want to save and manage your location information in your account. In some circumstances, Google also collects information about you from publicly accessible sources. For example, if your name appears in your newspaper, Google's search engine may index that article and display it to other people if they search for your name. And you wouldn't even know it. We may also collect information about you from trusted partners, including marketing partners who provide us with information about potential customers of our business services, and security partners who provide us with information to protect against abuse. We also receive information from advertisers to provide advertising and research services on their behalf. We use various techniques to collect and store information, including cookies, pixel tags, local storage, such as browser web storage, or application data caches, databases, or server logs. Which stuff is inside of your phone that basically you are banned from having access to. But let's watch this.
Google collects info as you use our services. What are some of the ways we put that data to work? We use your info to customize your results and improve our services for everybody. Let's say you search for mountain biking. We use what you searched for, other searches you've made, your location, and what other people did when they searched for mountain biking to find you the results you are looking for. Mountain biking trails near you. Depending on your settings, we may also use your info to show you personalized ads. So next time you're on YouTube, you might see an ad for biking gear. You can always control what info we use to show you ads by visiting your ad settings. And when we use your information to personalize the ads you see, we don't share anything with advertisers that personally identifies you. So your personal information is safe with us.
Really? Okay, let's move on. So why do they collect data? We use data to build better services. Well, they can. We use information we collect from all our services for the following purposes: providing our services. So this is true. They can do that. We can use your information to deliver our services, like processing the terms you search in order to return results, or helping you share content by suggesting recipients from your contacts. Get pretty personal there. Maintain and improve our services. We also use your information to ensure our services are working as intended, such as tracking outages or troubleshooting issues that you report to us. Do people actually do that? And we use your information to make improvements to our services. For example, understanding which search terms are most frequently misspelled helps us improve spell check features used across our services. How about repairing the keyboards that are always misspelling our words for us? I would really hope they would start fixing that. Develop new services. We use the information we collect in existing services to help us develop new ones. For example, understanding how people organize their photos in Picasa. Google's first Photos app helped us design and launch Google Photos. Provide personalized services, including content and ads. I noticed that they were kind of personalized to whatever we do, see, or have to do with. We use information we collect to customize our services for you, including providing recommendations, personalized content, and customized search results. For example, Security Checkup provides security tips adapted to how you use Google products. And Google Play uses information like apps you've already installed and videos you've watched on YouTube to suggest new apps you might like. Depending on your setting, we may also show you personalized ads based on your interest. For example, if you search import mountain bikes, we may see an ad for sports equipment when you're browsing a site that shows ads served by Google. You can control what information we use to show you ads by visiting your ad settings. We don't show you personalized ads based on sensitive categories such as race, religion, sexual orientation, or health. We don't share information that personally identifies you with advertisers, such as your name or email, unless you ask us to. For example, if you see an ad for a nearby flower shop and select the Tap to Call button, we'll connect your call and may share your phone number with the flower shop. Well, that's interesting, but who else? Measure performance. Well, this is basically to analyze data about your visits to their sites, to do things like optimize product design, and also to use data about the ads you interact with to help advertisers understand the performance of their campaign ads. And we use tools like Google Analytics. And when you visit the sites like that, Google and Google Analytics customer may link information about your activity from that site with activity from other sites that use our ad services. Communicate with you. They use information we collect, like email addresses, to interact with us directly, and may send us a notification if we detect suspicious activity, which may be your own self, but in an attempt to sign in to Google account from an unusual location, or upcoming changes and improvements to our services. If you contact Google, we'll keep a record of your request, blah, 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 to help you with any issues. Protect user or Google or our users and the public. We use information to help improve safety and reliability. They are trying to detect and prevent, respond to fraud, abuse, security risks, technical issues that could harm Google, the users, or public. We use different technologies to process your information. For that reason, we use automated systems to analyze your content, which could be even like bots, to provide you with things like customized search results, personalized ads, other features tailored to how you use our services. We analyze your content to help us detect abuse like spam, malware, illegal content. We use algorithms to recognize patterns in data. For example, Google Translate helps people communicate across languages by detecting common language patterns and phrases you ask it to translate. We may combine the information we collect with among our services across your devices for purposes described above. If you watch videos of guitar players on YouTube, you might see an ad for guitar lessons on a site that uses our ad products. Depending on your account settings, your activity on other sites and apps may be associated with your personal information or improve their services and ads delivered by Google. And if other users already have your email and information that identifies you, we may show them your publicly visible Google account information like your name and photo. This helps people identify an email coming from you. For example, we'll ask for your consent before using your information for a purpose that isn't covered in this privacy policy. Watch.
In your Google account, you can see your info, manage your privacy and security settings, and choose what info gets saved and deleted. Using your activity controls, you decide what data gets saved in your account. Google can use your data to give you personalized features like customized maps or relevant search results. To control what info we use to show you ads, you can adjust your ad settings, or you can turn off ad personalization altogether. You'll still see ads, but they'll be less relevant to your interests. You can visit your Google account to review, update, download, or delete information saved in your account at any time.
Your privacy controls. You have choices regarding the information we collect, yay, and how it's used. And they still get enough of it. This describes key controls for managing your privacy across their services. And you can visit this link, Privacy Checkup, and it provides an opportunity to review and adjust your privacy settings and these tools. And they offer these settings on their products. And you can learn more with the link Product Privacy Guide. And that'll take you right there if you want to stop there and do that if you're in the privacy policy. So you can go to the checkup. Managing, reviewing, and updating your information. When you're signed in, you can always review and update information by visiting services you use. For example, photos in Drive, are both designed to help you manage specific types of content you've saved in Google. So you can, upload your stuff there, and it'll be up in the cloud, in their cloud, on their servers. And we build a place for you to review and control information saved in your Google account. Your Google account includes privacy controls, activity controls. Decide what types of activity you'd like saved in your account. For example, you can turn on location history if you want traffic predictions for your daily commute, really. Or you can save your Google Watch history to get better video suggestions. Go to activity controls. It's where you can control it. I personally like to keep off my location history, and I don't want anything about predictions. Okay, so that's just me. The settings. Manage your preferences about ads shown to you on Google and on sites and apps that partner with Google to show ads. You can modify your interests. You can choose whether your personal information is used to make ads more relevant to you, or you can turn off or on or off certain advertising services. You just go in there and you just got to look around and get to learn this stuff. You'll figure it out if you spend enough time there. It doesn't really take a lot of time, but it does take focusing on it. About you. Control what others see about you across Google services. Go to About You. So this stuff you can access if you go to these places. Shared endorsements. Choose whether your name and photo appear next to your activity, like reviews and recommendations that appear in ads. Yes, they will do that. I've made it so they can't see my photo if I comment somewhere. And do a review. Information you share. Control whom you share information and who through your account on Google+. Go to information you share. Ways to review and update your information. Once again, it's My Activity. My Activity allows you to review and control data that's created when you use Google services, like searches you've done and visits you've to Google Play. You can browse by the date or the topic, and you can delete part or all of your activity. Now, it took me a while to figure out how to do the all your activity, because going through it by date is time consuming and very tedious. It's a lot easier to just delete it all, get it all out of the way and cleared up. And sometimes you have to do it more than once for it to work. Google Dashboard. It allows you to manage information associated with specific products, which could be nice stuff. I just haven't taken the time to do that recently in years. Your personal information managed to your contact information, like your name, email, and phone number. Yep, they love to have your phone numbers. But what I don't like about that is for people who change their phone numbers a lot, and then you somehow can't remember your password, and then they want to use that phone number as a way to get you in, but it no longer belongs to you. You can't get in via your phone number anyway, so why do they have to have that? Okay, so when you're signed out, you can manage information associated with your browser or device. Signed out, search personalization, choose whether your search activity is used to offer you more relevant, blah, 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 because we already said that. Results and recommendations. YouTube settings. Pause and delete your search history and your watch history. Now, actually, I don't do that because I actually like to know what I watched, because sometimes I want to share it with someone and I can go back to what I watched, copy that link or share that link and say, hey, this was really good for you to watch. Good to watch. So sometimes I don't delete that, but you can remove it from the history as well, individually. Ad settings. Manage your preferences about the ads shown to you on Google and on sites and apps that partner with Google to show ads. Okay. Now it is exporting, removing, and deleting your information. You can export a copy of content in your Google account if you wanted to. You can also back it up and use it with a service outside of Google. Some people might have a special reason to do that. I haven't had one. You can also request to remove content. Now, it sounds like that would be a request from Google services based on applicable law. So let's see what that is. To delete your information, you can delete your content from specific Google services. Search for and then delete. See, I hate that you have to search for everything just to delete it. The specific items from your account using My Activity. Okay, it can be a little bit easier than it sounds when you just delete all. Delete specific Google products, including your information associated with those products. Or you can even, if you so desire, delete your entire Google. Now that would be interesting because, for example, you can give up your account like on Facebook and Google, I think, where they save it all though. They don't delete it. You don't have an account per se. You're not using it anymore, but they save it for you. They save every little thing. It's still there. It's not deleted. So to delete it in this case, we're talking about deleting an account to where nothing is left. It is permanently gone. Now, whether they actually have their own backups like the NSA or whatever, we don't really know now, do they? Because they have great databases there. But at least it would be deleted from the public. Delete your information. And finally, inactive account manager allows you to give someone else access to parts of your Google account in case you're unexpectedly unable to use your account. Something happens to you, you're incapacitated, or someone you know passed away, so you can, if you needed people to access information there, which may be good or may be personal, but you can hand it over to someone else. You have to give them the rights. It is in the settings. There are other ways to control the information they collect, whether or not you're signed into your Google account, including browser settings. You can configure your browser to indicate when Google has set a cookie in your browser. You can also configure your browser to block all cookies from a specific domain or all domains. Well, if it's set to all domains, you're not going to go anywhere on the internet. But remember that our services rely on cookies to function properly for things like remembering your language preferences. Device level settings. Your device may have controls that determine what information we collect. For example, you can modify location settings on your Android device. Okay. I'm not going to explain that, but if you want it explained, go to the Modify Location Settings link, and it will explain it. It should explain it, show you it there. Sharing your information. When you share your information, our services let you do this with other people. You have control over how you do it. You can do it with videos, YouTube. You can decide to keep your videos private or basically unlisted or completely private or public. When it is, it's accessible through their search engines, especially if you use tags. When you're signed in and interact with some Google services like leaving comments on a YouTube video or reviewing a song in play, your name and your photo appear next to your activity. You may also display this information in ads, depending on your shared endorsement setting. And you want to know more? Go to that link. Everybody can find this. When Google shares your information, they say they do not share your personal information with companies, organizations, or individuals outside of Google, except they will do it if you use Google Home to request a ride from a ride-sharing service. You'll get your permission, though, first before sharing your address with that service. We'll ask you for your explicit consent to share any sensitive personal information. And then they will with domain administrators if you're a student or work for an organization that Google services like G Suite. Your domain administrator or resellers who manage your account will have access to your Google account. They may be able to access and retain information stored in your account like your email, view statistics regarding your account like how many apps you install. They can change your account password, suspend or terminate your account access. Review your account information in order to satisfy applicable law, regulation, legal process, or enforceable governmental request. Restrict your ability to delete or edit your information or your privacy settings. Makes you wonder if you want to be a student. Blah, blah, blah. For external processing, we provide personal information to our affiliates and other trusted businesses or persons to process it for us. Based on our instructions, they better have a lot of trust, in compliance with our privacy policy and any other appropriate confidentiality and security measures. For example, we use service providers to help us with customer support. Okay. For legal reasons, of course, they will share if they feel like they have to act in good faith belief that access, use, preservation, or disclosure of information is reasonably necessary to meet any applicable law, regulation, legal process, or enforceable governmental request. We will share this. Information about the number or type of requests we receive from governments in our transparency reports, which you can read at that link. Enforce applicable terms of service, including investigation of potential violations. Detect, prevent, or otherwise access fraud, security, or technical issues. Protect against harm to the right, property, or safety of Google, our users, or the public, as required or permitted by law. Which gives them without any reason to. We may share non-personally identifiable information publicly with our partners, like publishers, advertisers, developers, or rights holders. We can share information publicly to show trends about the general use of our services. We also allow specific partners to collect information from your browser and your device for advertising and measurement purposes using their own cookies and similar technologies. If Google is involved in a merger, acquisition, or sale of assets, we'll continue to ensure the confidentiality of your personal information, which is about, it almost sounds like about nothing, and give affected users notice before personal information is transferred or becomes subject to a different privacy policy. Keeping your information secure. We build security into our services to protect your information. All Google products are built with strong security features and continuously protect your information. The insights we gain from maintaining our services helps us detect and automatically block security threats from ever reaching you. Well, that's good. If we do detect something risky that we think you should know about, we'll notify you and help guide you through the steps to stay better protected. Now, has anybody ever been contacted? I haven't. We work hard to protect you and Google from unauthorized access, alteration, disclosure, or destruction of information we hold, including we use encryption to keep your data private while in transit. Okay. We offer a range of security features like safe browsing, security checkup, and two-step verification to help you protect your account, which most people don't even want to bother with doing because it's a lot of work to get into. But those that are extremely careful, they will tend to do that. We review our information, collect storage, and processing practices include physical security measures to prevent unauthorized access to our system. Okay, so basically it's physical. It's going to be with wherever their servers are. They're not going to anybody get in there. We restrict access to personal information to Google employees, contractors, and agents who need that information in order to process it. Well, that's good. Anyone with this access is subject to strict contractual confidentiality obligations and be disciplined or terminated if they fail to meet these obligations, which would not surprise me if they do that because they get so used to being there and comfortable with it, and they get away with a little, then they get away with more, and then, just see how much they can get away with. So you can't really trust employees to do the right thing. And that is the truth. How many businesses do you know where everybody is always just perfectly doing everything, following policy to the T? Very, very rare. Exporting and deleting your information. Sorry to say, I'm just kind of giving you the doom and gloom part of things, but wake up, They're not going to tell you that, we once in a while have to do this. But they will, at least they will, terminate if they need to, or whatever. Exporting and deleting your information. You can export a copy of your information or delete it from Google account at any time. You can export a copy of content in your Google account if you want to back it up or use it. See, I think I said this in the beginning while I'm repeating this. Export your data. Now, some of this is kind of repetitious. Delete your information. You can delete your content from specific Google services. Search for and then delete specific items from your account using My Activity. Once again, you can go there. And it's easy when you see these links. Delete specific Google products, including your information associated with those products. You'll know once you go to this link what they're talking about. Many of you know what Google products are. You can also delete your entire Google account, which I already said that as well. But I am just following down the line, so Even though it sounds repetitious, they're repeating what they're saying. In some cases, we retain data for limited periods when it needs to be kept for legitimate business or legal purposes. You can read about Google's data retention periods and how long it takes us to delete your info, which I don't really know off the top of my head. We try to ensure that our services protect information from accidental or malicious deletion. Well, thankfully that doesn't happen very often, but it's not unheard of. Because of this, there may be delays between when you delete something and when copies are deleted from our active and backup systems. It's almost like, are they trying to make up an excuse to justify some of their things that they may want to do? Do you trust them? Okay, it's just how much you trust people. You know, it's their company. They can do whatever they want.
Experience that. It's because that's the flesh. It's what I was doing was in the flesh. I was putting forth my effort. So the second hour goes by. I said, okay, I'm going to reach for the more melancholy aspects of my emotion, and I'm going to cry. I'm going to weep. I'm going to seek Him. And what we do here, you see, we try to guilt God into a response. Lord, don't you hear me? Don't you see me? Don't you love me? Lord, don't you love me? Can't you hear me? And we say it because we're trying to manipulate Him in a way that He can't be manipulated. He doesn't respond to that. You know, when I get a phone call on my cell phone and the call starts going bad, I'll often tell the person on the other line, I'll say, listen, you're not coming in clear, the call is breaking up. And what do they start doing? Most of the time they start yelling so that I can hear them. I said, no, the problem is not the volume, it's the connection. When you're praying, we try to exude emotion. We exert our effort with emotion. You're raising the volume. The volume's not the issue. It's the connection. And so that second hour had gone by where I'm praying that way, and guess what happened? Nothing.
If you're interested, you can go
then I reached for the more aggressive, the more spiritual.
You don't know what you're going to get.
I had read books on spiritual warfare. I'm telling you, if there was an adjective, I took that adjective, attached it to a demon, and rebuked it. The spirit of this, the spirit of that, the spirit of this goes, the spirit of that goes, and I'm praying against all of the things I could think of praying against. I'm going back to when I was 5. Lord, if there was anything that was 5 years old blocking me, I'm doing the generational deliverance, all of these different things that I knew to do. And I had got aggressive and I got angry and I said, I'm not going to be, subdued. I'm not going to be held back in the name of Jesus. And it's good to pray like that when it's spirit led. But I initiated it.
Wow.
So finally, that third hour goes by and nothing happened.
Oh, yeah.
And now, I'll be honest with you, I started to regret my ultimatum.
All right, we're back. Compliance and cooperation with regulators. We regularly review this privacy policy to make sure we process your information in ways that comply with it. Data transfers. We maintain servers around the world, and your information may be processed on servers located outside the country where you live. And it says that the data protection laws vary from country to country. Some provide more protection than others. Regardless of your information is processed, we apply the same protections described here and comply with certain legal frameworks relating to the transfer of data, like as the EU, US, and Swiss US Privacy Shield frameworks. EU is Europe. When we receive formal written complaints, we respond by contacting the person who made the complaint. We work with the appropriate regulatory authorities, including local data protection authorities, to resolve any complaints regarding the transfer of your data that we cannot resolve with you directly. About this policy. When this policy applies, this privacy policy applies to all of the services offered by Google LLC and its affiliates, including YouTube, Android, and services offered on third-party sites such as advertising services. This privacy policy doesn't apply to services that have separate privacy policies that do not incorporate this privacy policy. This privacy policy doesn't apply to the information practices of other companies and organizations that advertise our services, and services offered by other companies or individuals, including products and sites that may include Google services, be displayed to you in search results, or can be linked from our services. Changes, they change time to time, will not reduce your rights under these policies without your consent or your explicit consent. We always indicate the date the last changes were published and offer access to archived versions for your review. If changes are significant, we provide a more predominant notice, including for certain services, email notification of privacy policy changes. Okay, related privacy practices. Specific Google services. The following privacy notices provide additional information about some Google services. Here's their services right here. And I'm going to just flow through these, so get a look at it. Other useful resources are right here. These are links. Learn more about their practices and privacy settings. You can go to these links if you want more information. You don't have to read through all of these. They're kind of redundant. When we did go through some of these things, we kind of touched on their technologies and principles, how they use cookies, blah blah blah. Okay, so they kind of tell how they do things here, and then this is the end of the privacy policy. So there we have it. After this, the next one will be on the terms and conditions. So look for that video next. Thank you for listening in. Or even if you have listened in, at least you have a better idea of Google's privacy policy. Have a great day.